Good morning and welcome to Kila Chari Torah's Halacha Review and Sfirat Omer. Omer counting for Friday, May 15th. Today is 36 days of the Omer. Hayom Shisha Ushloshim Yom Shehem Chamisha Shavuot V'Yom Echad La Omer. The first thing that Reb Mordechai Eliyahu writes in the section called Shavuot on a Friday, which is our case this year. Shavuot starts Thursday night and continues Friday. All day is the first day of Yom Tif, and then Shabbat is the second day of Yom Tif. He says that you should prepare an Eruv Tavshilin on Thursday. So let's speak a little bit about the idea of Eruv Tavshilin, what it does, and how to do it. Not a complicated procedure, just takes a couple of minutes. If you look in your Siddur, if you have the Art Scroll Siddur, page 654, 655, and if you don't have one, we'll make this available on the internet between now and Yom Tif. There's the idea of, there's the mitzvah of Eruv Tavshilin there. The thing is this, we are not allowed to cook on Shabbos, no question about it. On Yom Tif, we are allowed to cook, but only what we need for that day of Yom Tif. So if you're making soup for Yom Tif and you figure, you know what, I'll make an extra 6 gallons and I'll put it away in the freezer, so we're not supposed to do that on Yom Tif. That's cooking on Yom Tif for after Yom Tif. You're only allowed to prepare what you need for that day of Yom Tif. So we have a little bit of a problem when we have, like this year, a day of Yom Tif going right into Shabbos. How can I prepare for Shabbos? How can I cook for Shabbos? Make my cholent, and so on, put things in the oven as they to have them warm for Friday night. How can I do that on a day of Yom Tif? I'm not supposed to prepare for the next day, even if the next day is Shabbos. And Shabbos I'd wind up eating cold food because I can't cook on Shabbos. So our rabbis of blessed memory instituted the notion of Eruv Tavshilin. In other words, an Eruv is when you mix things together, you blend things together. So I'm blending my cooking from Erev Yom Tif together with my cooking on Friday. It's all one big mix, and I'm also preparing for Shabbos from Thursday and Friday and Shabbos also. So I mix all my cookings together with a little procedure which we'll go through right now, and then since it's all part of one continuous cooking process, I would be allowed to do my necessary preparations for Shabbat on Friday, on Erev Shabbos, which is also Yom Tov. So at the bottom of the page, there's 654, 655, there's a bracha to say, Asher Kiddushan b'mitzvaysav v'tzivanu al mitzvat eruv. Blessed is God who sanctified us with His commandments and commanded us concerning the mitzvah of eruv. If you're curious, this is the same bracha that's made when we make an eruv chatzeros, when we make a connection of all the yards in the city to make them into one eruv. So we're allowed to carry on Shabbos from place to place. So it is the same bracha, and you can find that with a footnote on the next page. But we're making Eruv Tavshilin, blending together the cookings here. So once we make the bracha, we have ready 2 cooked foods. Usually we take a challah roll or a matzah if it's Pesach. So take a challah roll 2 weeks from yesterday, Erev Yom Tov. We don't do this on Yom Tov, we do it on Erev Yom Tov, so Thursday before we light candles. Could be any time during the day. And another cooked food. So a baked food and a cooked food could be a hard-boiled egg, could be a piece of chicken or fish, something like that. And we say, you can say it in Aramaic, you could say it in English, you can say it in any language you understand, because we should be able to know what we're doing. It says, through this Eruv may we be permitted to bake, to cook, to insulate, to kindle flames, and to do anything necessary for the on the festival for the sake of Shabbos. And then if you want, you can include the last phrase, for ourselves and for all Jews who live in this city. That way, in case your neighbor forgets to make an Eruv, so you could say, it's all right, I had you in mind when I made my Eruv. Nice thing to always have others in mind, particularly for mitzvahs. Okay, let's talk a little bit about today's counting, the Omer. We're into week 6 now, so we need a little bit of introduction to Yesod, because the basis for this week is going to be Yesod, which is bonding and foundation. Rabbi Jacobson writes, bonding is the ultimate emotional connection. While the first 5 qualities we've spoken about up until now, love, discipline, compassion, endurance, and humility, are interactive, they still manifest duality, the lover and the beloved, for example. The emphasis is on an individual's feelings, not necessarily on mutuality. Bonding, on the other hand, is a complete fusion of the two. Without bonding, no feeling can truly be realized. Bonding means connecting, not only feeling for another, but being attached to the other. Not just a token commitment, but real total devotion. It creates a channel between giver and receiver. Bonding is eternal. It develops an everlasting union that lives on forever through the perpetual fruit that it bears. Bonding is the foundation of life, the emotional spine of the human psyche. Every person needs bonding in order to flourish and to grow. The bonding between mother and child, between husband and wife, between brothers and sisters, between close friends. Bonding is affirmation. It gives us the sense of belonging. I matter, I'm significant and important. It establishes trust in yourself and trust in others. It instills confidence. Without bonding and nurturing, we cannot realize and be ourselves. Bonding channels all 5 previous qualities into a constructive bond, giving it the meaning foundation. Whereas other human feelings are individual emotions, separate stories of a building, separate stories of a building, and each separate stories of a building, got it, and each a necessary component of human experience. Bonding channels and integrates them all into one bond, which creates a foundation upon which the structure of human emotions firmly stands. Bonding is giving all of yourself, not just part. It is not one emotion, but all of them. So Yesod completes the spectrum of the first 6 emotions. The foundation of Yesod is different than an ordinary foundation. It does not just rest beneath the higher levels of the structure, it encompasses them all. An effective bedrock of the emotional psyche cannot remain separate, but must include and permeate all the emotions. Only then can bonding be constructive and everlasting. With that in mind, let's look at today, 36 days, which is 5 weeks and 1 day of the Omer. On page 286 of your siddur, after today's count, you'll see in the Sphira column, Chesed Sheba Yesod. Chesed Sheba Yesod, loving kindness in bonding. He writes, love is the heart of bonding. You cannot bond without love. Love establishes a reliable base on which bonding can build. If you have a problem bonding, examine how much you love the person, or the experience with which you wish to bond. Do I try to bond without first fostering a loving attitude? Is my bonding expressed in a loving manner? Our exercise for the day: demonstrate the bond you have with your child or friend through an act of love. Wish everyone a good Shabbos. Have a wonderful, restful, peaceful, and healthy Shabbos. We'll speak afterwards.